we all see sort of young kids who are basically being kept quiet by given a phone or a tablet to look at, perhaps in a restaurant or in the car. And we can be quite judgmental about that. But at the same time, as parents, we all have times where we're juggling work, kids, household chores, and many other priorities, and we just need some peace and quiet. Is it okay every now and then to give ourselves a break in this way?
Yeah. And I understand why parents choose that because it works
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
short term. It
Yeah.
does quiet a child. It does distract a child. It does make for a peaceful restaurant experience. But the thing I've been saying a lot is that we have to consider what gift we might be giving our children by not providing them with that in those moments. And gift, I mean, in this sense of the gift of skill building, social experiences, understanding what it means to go to a restaurant and interact with a waiter and a staff and, make eye contact, life skills essentially. And I think it's because it's so easy, right? I mean, it's human nature to want to choose the easy thing. Our brains seek out the easy option. And that is true, but at what cost? Because I would argue, and as a former educator, I feel very passionate about this, that learning happens in moments of friction. Learning happens when we struggle with something, not when something's easy. And so taking your child to a restaurant, a 3-year-old, it can be a very risky experience, but it's a very important one. And you might have to practice it more than once, and you might have to wait till they're 4, and you might have to talk about it before you go. But I think we lose sight of what is lost when we displace these life experiences with a screen. And again, I don't know that parents know that. That's one of my goals, is to help them understand that.
It's super difficult to if the child it doesn't really matter how old they are, by the way.
Yeah.
But they're
Yeah.
sitting in front of something, and then the parents comes in and said, "This is enough," and the kids really get a temper tantrum. And
Yes.
that's hard for parents to manage, right? So what is a
Absolutely.
good advice how to handle that?
That's a great question. And one of the things to remember, again, is it's not you versus the child. It's you versus this hijacked neural pathway. The dopamine is just flowing, and you are interrupting that. You are taking away this thing that's literally making them feel good. So there are several things. One is to prepare ahead of time. If you're choosing to give screens or they are accessing, it is to set up the expectation ahead of time. I know it's going to be hard when it's time to turn off the iPad or the game, and I am going to leave you time to have the tantrum, to be upset and angry, but that's not going to change the fact that the time is ending, right? I think we have to build in time for that meltdown. Now, if it tips into like this is happening every time, it becomes violent or aggressive, we have a bigger problem. And especially with younger children, I would say that it is much easier when they are young to delay and limit as much as possible, because let's just say that arguing with a 6-year-old about it is very different when they turn 16. And so I would much rather you have that struggle with them when they're young, because they will learn, they will adapt. And another thing that we can do as parents is approach this as a team effort. Too often it's, child versus parent. And what we can do is we're in this together. We are doing this for each other, for our family, for your friendship skills, because we care about what kind of an adult you're going to grow up to be. And this is one tip I give to parents all the time, or one question, shall we say: where is your phone at night? And 95% of adults put their phones in their room at night. If that's the case, I invite you to reconsider, because what you're doing is modeling that that's okay, that it's okay to have the phone in the room at night. And again, a 5-year-old may not see much problem with that, but your 15-year-old's going to say, well, that's not fair. How come you get to and I don't? So that's just a simple way of saying this is something we could do together, right?
Yeah, that's a great next question for me, because to be honest, we're glued onto those devices
Yes.
all the time. If I'm the parent who's like sitting in front of the screen all day and I'm being very strict, trying to be strict with my kids, that's going to be a tough journey, because how credible am I, right?
Exactly. And children hate hypocrisy. I mean, they're primed to react extra strong when they see us saying one thing and doing another. And There's another strategy that I love to tell people about, which is to live your life out loud. Because you're right, as an adult, we use our devices as tools as much as we might use them for entertainment. And our child isn't going to know that. From the back of our device, they have no idea what we're doing. But if we narrate it, if we say, oh, I'm looking at my work email, oh, I have to make this phone call, oh, I'm checking the weather, what time is your soccer practice? Like, we just keep saying it out loud. We're not only modeling how we're using it as a tool, but we can add the emotional component. We can say, gosh, I'm bored. I'm in line at the coffee shop and I'm scrolling through Instagram and I don't feel better. I feel distracted and maybe I could put this away. Right. So again, it's annoying. I always say, it's working when kids are rolling their eyes, but the idea is you do that first, and maybe any other adults in the household also do it. You do it together. And the hope is that eventually children will start to do it as well, right? Where they say, oh, mom, you're not living your life out loud. Or you say to them, I see you're reaching for the iPad. Let's narrate what you're doing. Why don't you explain, I'm reaching to the iPad because I'm going to text my friend. Those kinds of things. Again, that's just part of the process. It's not the only thing, but I think that really helps.
Has that proven helpful in your experience? Because, I
Oh,
sometimes
yes.
think kids are so, smart. And if they learn that you are saying, well, I'm doing shopping, I'm working, I'm just like, probably they'll come up with the same kind of answer to you. And
It's
that
right.
reality is they might be doing something different, but I'd be interested
That's a
if that
great point.
works.
It's a really good point. That's a great point. I have not encountered that. I mean, I think again, it's more about modeling how it's used. So I have a 16-year-old, and sometimes I'll ask him. I see you're reaching for your phone. Could you live your life out loud? And he won't do it all the time. Sometimes I have to remind him. The other thing I would say is we're going for what I call the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time we're doing this. 20% no. And we're going to mess up. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to be bad role models. And we have to let ourselves off the hook a little bit because no one's perfect. But
Yeah.
that's also teachable moments too, right? Like there are opportunities for our children to see, oh, my parents make mistakes. My parents don't know everything. And sometimes as a parent, that means saying, yeah, you're right. I'm on this more than I'd like to be. Or I'm really distracted by my notifications. I think I should mute them. Because again, the idea is that we're modeling that this is a struggle for us too.